All right, and we are back here on Couch Coach Live. Another Wednesday night under lights here on Couch Coach Live. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Oh,
good, man.
Best part of my Wednesday.
Sir.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a good week so far. How about y'all week?
Busy, man. Busy.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah. You're right. It's been busy, kind of hectic, but yeah, it's here. But we here on the Wednesday night here. So as we continue our NFC previews tonight, we're gonna talk about the South. So we'll talk about essentially the Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, and Tennessee Titans. And then in the bottom half of the show, we'll be talking the NFC South. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints, and the Carolina Panthers. A very interesting 8 teams that we'll talk about today. So without further ado, let's start off in the South. Let's talk about the AFC South, as I just mentioned earlier. We're pretty much going to go around the horn, fellas. Our storylines to watch for each team. So a storyline for the Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go with you first, Mal. We'll start off with your AFC storylines to watch.
Okay. The Tennessee Titans. Does it make a difference? Yeah. Okay. So the Titans. Yeah. I got the Tennessee Titans. I got will Cam Ward play as a top 16 QB to make the Titans a sleeper team in the division. I'm gonna go to the Texans. Will the Texans O-line protect the young QB? I think the Texans, the reason I said that, I think they have everything. I just think they need to necessarily protect him, and because their defense is solid, they got weapons. Then I'm gonna go to the Jags. And with the Jags, I put Trevor Lawrence. I said Trevor Lawrence has gotten paid. He has weapons and a new coach. Will he play to help this team move forward, to show that he is the quarterback, their franchise quarterback? This is his third coach. And I think the next one is, and I was trying to figure out a way to put this together so it could be suspenseful, X. You know what I'm saying? For a storyline, and you'd be suspenseful. But I'm going to say this. Are the Colts coaching staff nervous that if Anthony Richardson don't play well, that they may get fired at the end of the season? That is why they got Daniel Jones. Because same thing, like, Richardson's been unhealthy, but they've been running the ball like crazy, but their passer rating it's not good. So if you think Daniel Jones would be there to help them get over the hump, those are my storylines.
All right, what you got, X?
I'm gonna start with the Houston Texans. With them, I'm pretty much piggybacking off of what Maui said. But instead of addressing the O-line, can C.J. Stroud rebound from a sophomore slump? For the Indianapolis Colts, it is the quarterback situation. Can Anthony Richardson take that next necessary step? Because this is pretty much a make it or break it year for him. This is extension time. If he does not play up to par, up to playing what he was the 4th pick in the draft, I don't see them extending him, and he could pretty much turn into a career backup if things don't work out in Indianapolis. For Jacksonville, it is. I wanted to take the Trevor Lawrence storyline, but I want to talk about the Travis Hunter two-way experiment. How long are they going to do it, and how often? Like, how many snaps is he going to play on each side of the ball? And for Tennessee, it's, will Cam Ward live up to being the number 1 overall pick?
I think for Houston is a given, like we talked about it, you guys talked about earlier, as far as this 3rd year with C.J. Stroud. Now, bringing in the offensive coordinator and Kaylee, I think that's going to be like the biggest thing. Bringing in him as offensive coordinator, obviously now with Bobby Slowick is not no longer the OC there. And now that rebuilding that O-line, obviously no Larry Tunstall, no Shaq Mason, no Kenyon Green for the Houston Texans team. So it's going to be interesting of how that offense will be. C.J. Stroud had 52 sacks last season. He was pressured 38% of his snaps. So curious what Kaylee's going to do in this being that offensive coordinator. Jacksonville, the Liam Cohen era begins. I'm really curious how, because we sat here last year talked about the NFC South. We kind of talked about as far as Baker Mayfield losing an offensive coordinator when Canales went to Carolina, and we was question marks about Liam Cohen last year. Now Liam Cohen now is head coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and what he will do with Trevor Lawrence. Essentially, I wouldn't necessarily say I compare Trevor T-Law to Baker, but both of them were 1st overall picks that had expectations high, but not to the extent of like Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence, he would introduce us early. They said he was the greatest 8th grader that's ever been an 8th grader. So he's always had that hype since the beginning of time. So that's kind of one of those where can he bring him to kind of what he did with Baker Mayfield last year? Obviously, what Baker had like 4,500 yards last year, 41 touchdowns. So can T-Law kind of had that resurgence in his career? Indianapolis, almost to your point, Mal, as far as the whole situation of the hot seat, especially now, and unfortunately, we have to mention, obviously, the passing of Jim Irsay. Now his 3 daughters now are part of the ownership group. So now this is where it could be a situation where Chris Ballard, GM, and also Shane Steichen are on a hot seat. And considering the fact next year they're going to potentially have $70 million in cap space. And I think if they don't have a successful season, I think it would be best potentially to kind of clean house. If you got $70 million, I think you'll be able to kind of do what you need to do. And potentially the Irsay daughters could put their own imprint on this football team if this team is successful. And then with the Titans, I think Cam Ward, I'm interested in what Callahan is going to do with the development of Cam Ward. I know it's going to be similar to kind of what he did with Joe Burrow. Obviously, he was a part of the offense. He was an OC at Cincinnati. He was an instrumental part of Joe Burrow's development in the first couple of years of his tenure with Cincinnati. So can Cam Ward, I know a lot of people saying that they're going to do a situation essentially where they're going to tailor the offense to his strengths, which I think that's a beauty thing where he can get comfortable. And I think potentially, I think Cam Ward has a legitimate shot, I think, to be a good quarterback in this league. I think it all starts with Callahan and Cruz in Tennessee. So, yeah. All right. So we'll go around the horn, fellas. We'll talk about our players to watch. We'll have one on defense and one on offense. I'm gonna go with you, X. Who's your player to watch? Your offensive player to watch, and then your defensive player to watch.
Offensive player to watch. Talking about for the whole AFC, right? AFC South.
The AFC South, yes.
Player to watch on offense. I'm gonna use Anthony Richardson, because like I said, it's a make it or break it year, and if he struggles out of the gate, how long before the team and the fans start asking for Daniel Jones? And if Daniel Jones plays, I guess above, just a little bit above what he's capable of, now it kind of puts Indianapolis in a position as to, do we give Daniel Jones a long-term deal and just cut ties with Anthony Richardson? So it's gonna make their offseason after this current season interesting. That's if Anthony Richardson doesn't play up to par. And my defensive player to watch, and it only depends on how, like I said, how many snaps he does play on defense. And I know I'm gonna use him again in the next segment, is Travis Hunter. He's a unique player, and so I'm just eager to see, like, just how many snaps he'll play on the defensive side of the ball for Jacksonville, and how effective he will be on that side, and how it will affect his offensive production.
All right, Mal, who is your AFC South player to watch on offense and on defense? What you got?
Before I get started, can I ask some questions for both of you experts pertaining to the Colts? Is that okay?
Remember, we're not, like we said, we're not experts. We are Jags. We're just guys with opinions. We're not experts.
Well, to me, I value. I got you. I value your opinions. I value your opinions. So my question is, with that head coach and what he did for Jalen Hurts, right? With Jones being there, would you pick Jones over Richardson? Because I mean, tell you why, their passing rating is horrible. I mean, like they was 25th, but the running game was, and they got weapons. That's why I want to ask. I value y'all opinion.
I think, and I think the thing is, like what we always say, when you're a first round draft pick, you will get every opportunity to do that. I think with the Colts, it's like, I mean, he was like the 4th pick in the draft. So it's kind of one of the things where it's like he's gonna have a longer leash than many. You have, I mean, to me, my personal opinion, you have to.
I want to agree with you, Coach, but I feel like they're paying Daniel Jones $14 million a year, and that's a lot for a backup. So I feel like Richardson's leash may be shorter than we think it is. I'm gonna give it 5 games, and that's a stretch. If he doesn't show improvement and produce, then I'm thinking they're gonna hand the reins over to Daniel Jones.
I just looked at the numbers and I thought I was hoping. I'm happy that you asked because I was looking at the number and I was like, well, damn, they was right there and they could have won. But it really wasn't that Richardson was bad. I think he was hurt a lot. He was getting hurt a lot. You know what I mean? I know they was trying to express some other things. So I just really wanted to ask you that question. And I think that's going to be interesting to watch. You know, and I'm hoping. Well, let me ask you this too. I still see potential in Richardson. So do you think maybe he needs a little bit more work? Or I hear what you're saying, Coach. Like, nah, he was drafted here. He needs to.
He has the potential. He has the athleticism. He has the arm talent. It's like he doesn't have any touch. It's like every pass is a bullet.
Right.
And you can't throw a bullet every possession.
Every time.
Every pass attempt. You have to put some sort of touch on it.
I feel like he got the coach though. Like I just remember how when he was with Hurst, I think they got the coach. So okay. Like I said, I value your opinion. I just wanted to know. So my offensive player is Brian Thomas Jr. He got 87 receptions last year, almost 1,300 yards, and 10 TDs with Travis Hunter. Well, AKA Dylan, because you can put him I'm like you. I was like you, X. I was like, well, shoot, I'm just gonna put Travis Hunter for everything, you know. But I ain't gonna do that. I think it's gonna open up with Brian. So I think that that's my offensive player, and then my defensive player, I put L'Jarius Sneed. He had a rough year last year, veteran. And he needs for that team to do well. He can't struggle because they don't have a lot on the team. But I think that he's one of those players to watch.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, I definitely think he has an opportunity to have that bounce back year, especially now with Colton as the head coach. And just the weapons that he have, obviously, when you got like a Brian Thomas Jr. on one end, De'Ami Brown also there, and then you look at potentially maybe Travis Hunter being the slot potentially. So you got an opportunity there where you got some talent there as well. So I definitely think he'll have an opportunity to kind of have what I call like a diverse offense. I'm curious kind of how like Travis Etienne. What year he will have. He's another one that's, I think we had heightened expectations with him. So we're just curious how that's all going to happen. And then actually, I'm going to, for the defensive end, I'm going to stay in Jacksonville. The next about who could potentially have a breakout year is Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen. He kind of went through an interesting year. Obviously, in 2023, he had 17 and a half sacks. He kind of bulked up a little bit last season, only had like 8 sacks, lost the weight, kind of back to his 2023 self. So now curious how that will translate going into 2025. So, and he's only 2.5 sacks short of being the Jags all-time career leader in sacks. Potentially breaking Tony Bracken's record. He has 55 sacks in his career. So Josh Allen Hines is pretty much on the verge of becoming the all-time leading sack leader for the Jacksonville Jaguars in their very short 30-year existence. He's putting up those type of numbers. So again, Josh Hines Allen, the other Josh Allen, is my player to watch defensively in the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got to talk about some rookies. So we got to go into our AFC South. Who is your rookie to watch on offense and on defense? I'm gonna go to you first. X, what you got?
All right, I'm gonna stay in Jacksonville, and I done spoken about him on 2 different segments, and I'm just gonna say Travis Hunter for both of mine, for offense and defense. I just want to see how many snaps on the offensive side and the defensive side is he gonna play. I don't see him playing every snap on offense and every snap on defense, but I do see him playing more significant snaps on offense and a handful on defense. Because I mean, he may feel like he can do it because he did it in college, playing almost every snap on both sides of the ball. But in the NFL, I just don't see that happening. But I'm eager to see how many snaps on defense, and will there also be games where he's featured heavier on the defensive side of the ball and vice versa for being featured heavily on the offensive side of the ball. So, and plus the matchups in the AFC South with the receivers he's going up against and also the cornerbacks he's going to be going up against. I'm just eager to see him.
All right, Mal, who's your AFC rookies?
My offensive one, I got Cam Ward, of course. Number one pick. And defense, I got, come on, man. Dylan. Let's do it. Travis Hunter, man. Oh, man, I wanted to put everything on it, but, respect of my colleague, man, I did a little bit of homework, but I just think that, doing this preview, I just think, this is going to be a really, really good division in the future. It's young, and, people going to want to watch the Jags because Travis Hunter's there. You know what I mean? People are going to want to watch that. And then, and then the Colts, this is very, very interesting. It's going to be some conversations right there, which way to go, because I do think they're right there. So, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I got Cam Ward and I got Travis Hunter.
Yeah. I think the rookie for me to watch is obviously a guy in our backyard, Tyler Warren, for the Indianapolis Colts by way of Penn State and Atlee High School. I think, in my personal opinion, I think he can be one of those guys. I think can potentially have a Brock Bowers type of production next season. I think he would be either Daniel Jones or Richardson safety blanket. I definitely like kind of that offense. I think he would be a real tremendous addition. Obviously, when you got Pittman Jr. receiving, and also Allen Pierce, who came to job last year. Now a couple bringing in him. And I definitely think they probably have a 2 tight end set, maybe like with another former guy, Mo Alley Cox, by way of VCU. So I'm really curious what Tyler Warren's going to do. I definitely think he's an impact. I look at him as like the plug and play guy of this of the offensive wise, and I think defensively, and it's just de facto because I could have made him an all offense as well. But I'm really strong about Tyler Warren. But what Travis Hunter's going to do, especially I want to see like I think currently he's like cornerback number 2 in some, and I think Jacksonville official not mock draft, but depth chart. So I really want to see how he's going to go against guys because I know he was talking to the Carolina guys like, okay, week 1, who is he going to have, T-Mac on one end, or he's going to have Leggett or what have you. So it's going to be really interesting to have the type of corner that he will be. And I think, to me, it's weird because I like him offensively as well, especially considering back who he has. He fits very well with Brian Thomas and De'Ami Brown. I think he's a great add that trio in that mix. So, but I think he'll have more of an impact on the defensive side on my point of view. So, Tyler Warren and Travis Hunter. All right, so Any AFC South hot takes? I'm gonna go with you first, Maui. Any hot takes for the in the AFC South? I can hear you. You muted.
My bad. My can you hear me? X?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. While the Texans dealt with injuries, the Jacksonville Jaguars had
Yeah.
Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars have turned around and took over the division. That's my hot take. Y'all there?
Yeah, I can hear. I can
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's my hot take. I only had one.
All right. All right. What you got, X?
I have one hot take, and it's that the AFC South will send 2 teams to the playoffs.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And the 2 teams I'm talking about is Houston and Jacksonville.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mine's not a hot take. I think it's like a mild take. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a career year this season. I think Travis Hunter's going to have – not Travis Hunter. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a breakout season. Will I say he'll have a career high? But I think he will have I'll say about a little over 4,000 yards, give or take between 35 and 38 touchdowns a season. So I definitely think he's going to have a bounce back season. I think a lot of people are going to be kind of back on the fence as far as a lot of people have these high expectations, which is valid. But I definitely think Trevor Lawrence is going to kind of get back into being in that conversation as far as being like at least top 15 quarterback in the league. I think he gets back in that conversation this year.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think T. Law is on the hot seat?
Potentially. I mean, at this point, it's fair game, but I think this season is going to help him not be in the high seat. But I think if it goes against kind of what I think is going to happen, like say for instance, he has a bad year. Oh yeah, the seat is definitely hot because at this point, especially how everything going, and you think to yourself, if they're really really bad, considering the fact that they gave that first round pick to Cleveland. Just imagine if they was the worst team in the league and they had the number 1 pick next year and they had an opportunity to get a quarterback. Like it could get bad. But I don't think it's gonna get it'll get to that point. Well, I think Arch is gonna be 2027.
Okay.
Unless he wins a national championship and win the Heisman. Because you think about his uncles, they stayed all 4 years. But I think if Texas wins the national championship and potentially win a Heisman, I can see potentially him going because at that point, this could be the hottest he's going to be. But if Texas go undefeated, that move. But if he follows his uncle footsteps, I think 2027 is going to be the year he comes out.
Talking about Trevor Lawrence, he said this is his third coach. And I think he finally got his coach. He got paid, he got weapons, and he got a coach that actually made people believe in Baker. Like, I didn't even know Baker's numbers was like that until coach said something. And I was looking at it like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think he, if it doesn't work, if it's not doing well with this situation, it's gonna have to be time to really be looking in a different direction. Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. You know, I'm trying to hit my mute thing, like make sure it's up. No, but yeah. I can't hear you, Coach. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah, no, I can't. I can hear you, but I can't hear Coach.
I can't hear you now. Mm-mm. But I mean, say something, Coach. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Maui. I can't hear Coach.
Yeah, okay. You still there?
But he can.
I can't hear.
I think he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Right. Can you hear us, Coach? Give us a thumbs up. I don't think he can hear.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
can.
Yeah,
he
okay.
can. I think
Yeah.
it may be. I think it may be a delay from what we saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, till you figure it out, X. I just feel like I think Trevor Lawrence has everything the package. Franchise guy, he got married early. You know what I mean? You still there, X?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, I don't see you, but it's all good. I just feel like I think they've been patient with him. I think he's been patient too. Like it's nothing negative. And like he got a coach that wants to prove himself, probably be patient. And like I've been saying since, I think Andy Reid represents that coach where it's about having a relationship with your quarterback.
Yeah.
Rather than the last dynasty was Belichick and Brady, which we could tell they didn't have the best relationship. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that, you know, man, regardless, I'm gonna be looking to watch them because I had the best time watching the Colorado Buffaloes these last 2 years, man. You know what I mean? Like staying up to 3 a.m. and you know
they were must see TV. It wasn't not last season, but season before last.
Before, yeah,
when they played Colorado State, man, that was a good game.
Let me tell you, man. It sparked something in us all to make us love it again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know everybody's still, but it's just every once in a while something happens to take you back. So I felt like George Pickens had the same alien thing that Travis Hunter got. He just don't have the mental. And I think Travis Hunter has the mental. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think he just has the mental to know that he's special and he's humble. Whereas George just, you know, I don't know. So I'm excited. I know I'm watching the Jaguars this year. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan. And
they're going to be must-see TV. They are going to be must-see.
And I hope they prepared for it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes some teams get in a situation and they don't be prepared for it. And then that player has to leave, you know?
See, I feel like Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence should be prepared for it because when Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson, they were on the national stage almost every game.
Yep.
So and he performed well.
Yep.
So he should be used to it. Travis Hunter, the spotlight been on him really since he swapped schools from
right.
What was he going? because he flipped his commitment from.
Was he going to Florida?
He was going.
Was it Florida or Florida State?
Something like that, and he flipped it to.
Or was it Miami? It was something in there.
Yeah, and he flipped it to Jackson State. So
all right.
So it's been all eyes on him since then, and he said to live up to that measurement every game, and he has. So
right.
I feel like he's ready.
Yeah, like it's very interesting because I know he wants to play both sides, and I just hope they put him in the right predicaments. You know, hey man, everybody say that you can't do it, but everything has to ascend. Like, you know, a new element comes in and it changes everything. I think, you know, they was like, hey, if you want to make the money, you got to be a receiver. You know, they said cornerbacks don't get paid. Not saying they don't get paid, but they don't get paid as much as a wide receiver. I think he a better cornerback than receiver, though. To be honest with you.
So I'm glad. So since you brought that up, when it's time for him to re-up and get that extension, how you think they're gonna look at him? They gonna look at him as a receiver, or are they gonna look to pay him as a receiver, or are they gonna look to pay him as a DB?
That's the issue. I think he's gonna try to make a new position, I guess you could say. And I think remember when I'm a Steeler. So you remember that year when Le'Veon Bell held out?
Mm-hmm.
That was his argument. He was like, I'm a running back, but I'm top in TDs, passing yards, and rushing yards. Like I'm top running back and I'm a top receiver. Y'all got to pay me. And they did not want to pay me. And then I didn't realize that they had franchise tagged him 2 or 3 times. So he was like, y'all got to pay me. And they didn't want to pay him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I'm trying to make a new market. That's what I was trying to say. So I don't know. You, like I said, I value your opinion, you know.
I feel like, and I hope when that time comes, his agent is prepared to negotiate the right contract, because like I said, how you want to pay him. They're probably gonna try to, you know how they are when it comes to extensions and stuff. They try to give you the short end of the stick until y'all meet somewhere in the middle. So
Hey, coach, you there?
Yep, here. You hear me?
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yep.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
So we gotta go to our record predictions for the South. Give me 1 second. All right, so our AFC South predictions. I'm gonna go with you first, X. Who you got, record predictions?
All right, I got Houston finishing at 10-7, winning the division. Jacksonville finishing at 9-8, potentially securing a wild card spot. I have the Colts going 8-9, and I have Tennessee coming up at 5-12.
All right. And Mel, what you got?
I got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 11-6. I got the Colts at 9-8. I got the Texans at 6-11, and I got the Titans at 5-12.
All right, so I'm actually identical to X. I got Houston 10-7. They'll win the South. Jacksonville at 9-8 won't make my playoff. They won't make the playoff on my one. I got the Colts at a strong 8-9, and then I got the Titans at 4-13. So, all right. So now let's talk about the South. Pardon me, of the NFC. So we got the Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carolina Panthers, and the New Orleans Saints. So, going around the horn, what is one storyline to watch for each team? I'm gonna go with you first, X. What's your storyline?
I'm gonna start with the Falcons. Can Michael Penix Jr. lead this Atlanta Falcons team to the playoffs? For Carolina, it's can Bryce Young take the next step as being a former number one pick? Because I feel like similar to Anthony Richardson, this may be a make it or break it year for Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
For the Saints, it is. I want to talk about the quarterback situation with the Saints, but I also want to point out they have a new head coach in Kellen Moore. So I will say, how can Kellen Moore shape the New Orleans Saints for the future? And for Tampa Bay is simple. Can they win a 5th straight NFC South title?
That's good.
What you got, Maui?
All right. So I'll start with the Bucks. Will Baker? Let me see. Will Baker take a step back after losing Liam Cohen? Say his name right.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I thought. Okay. And the Falcons. I said with Michael Pickens. Did I say his name right? Michael Pickens being QB1. Penix. Okay. Penix.
Yeah,
Michael Penix being QB1. Will he lead the team to the division title? Especially with all the team coming back. He had some success last year. So that's that one. Let me see. Same with, I'm with you, X. The Panthers. With this being Bryce Young's 3rd year, will he finally move forward, or will the Panthers have to look for another franchise QB? And then the Saints. Basically, will Kellen Moore be able to have success with the Saints? I got another one for them. When I was doing my research, I realized that the Saints constantly wanted to keep being competitive when they probably should have truly rebuild. So I want to say, will the Saints finally truly rebuild and use some of their assets to move forward? I think that's it.
So Atlanta is officially the Michael Penix era.
Right.
He showed flashes at the end of the season. So now he has the full reins of his team. So now the first full year, and the reason why essentially they drafted him so high last season, now it comes to fruition. Tampa Bay, can they recover from a heartbreaking loss in the playoffs? Essentially, can they recover from the doink, essentially, in that playoff game against Washington? And with Baker, like we talked about earlier, as far as losing the coordinator, now Josh Gizzard now is his offense coordinator, which I'm assuming he might be a head coach next year if we looked at kind of last 3 years. So he steps up now as the offensive coordinator, and seems like Baker don't miss a beat. We talked about Canales 2 years ago. We talked about Liam Cohen this year. He just hasn't missed a beat. So can they essentially recover from that heartbreaking loss in the playoffs against Washington? That's going to be the biggest thing for me. Carolina, Bryce Young, that 3rd year with him, fair number 1 overall pick, and we talked about it last year. Like, as far as now, unfortunately, he's going to be judged against like a Caleb Williams, where essentially Carolina could have got Caleb Williams in that, as far as the trades and everything, this and the third, where they could have kept their trade and potentially, instead of trading all those picks to get Bryce Young. And it's unfair for Bryce Young, but I definitely think he's and he showed some signs. They had a good game against Philly where that Xavier Legette dropping that pass at the end in that Philly game, which I think they could have beat Philly right before the end of the season. So they had some flashes. And then with the Saints, I mean, it's gonna be a rough year. Kellen Moore takes the helm. I'm assuming at this point it looks like Spencer Rattler got the keys to the car for them, or Tyler Schott from Louisville. Just expect dark days in New Orleans this season. It's gonna be a rough year for sure. Right.
You should have got your door.
Who is your player to? Possibly, but
they had plenty of chances. They had plenty. Yeah, and the Tyler Schott thing. I still don't understand that. Just his history. I'm thinking, well, he's been in college for like 7 years, and he's had all those injuries.
I thought it was 5.
Yeah, it was. I think he was in school. I want to say like 6. I think he was in school because he had like a medical red shirt one year. He had a COVID year. So I think
disrespectful.
No, I'm saying it's
not you, but
yeah. But I mean, he's. I think I want to say it was like 6 or 7 years he was in college.
And like in each of those years, did he show improvement? Like the times he was on the field playing?
In my personal opinion, not really. I mean, he's a.
I'm not gonna lie.
I
I never heard his name at all last season in the college football season until the draft. So that's why I was shocked that they even took him over Shador.
I mean, that's what I said. I was thinking about this, and I haven't really talked about it. It's very disrespectful, though, man. But I know we got to move on. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, the thing with him, it's all of it because, matter of fact, because I think because he's 25, so he's about to be 26 in September. Because I think he was like the class of like 2018. Like he was like, I think he went to school with like Justin Herbert. No, matter of fact, Brock Purdy. They're like the same age. And Brock Purdy been in the league about 4 years. Yeah, so him and Brock Purdy is like right around the same age. I think they were both the class of 98. So yeah, I mean, so he went to Oregon from 2018 to 2020, Texas Tech from 2021 to 23, and then went to Louisville last year. So he was in school from 2018 to 2024. Because, like I said, I know he had season-ending injury 1 year, then he had the COVID year, and then I think that he had that 1 year left eligibility to Louisville. So yeah, it's
quick question.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Do you feel like these owners believe that they're looking for another Brock Purdy?
Not necessarily. Not like in their case, because with him, he was a second-round pick. And I never understood. I mean, a lot of people do, but the thing about that is you still gonna have to pay him. I think they like the fact that you get the guy at pennies on a dollar for like $900,000, but then when it's time to pay him, I wouldn't say they get reluctant, but they kind of get like, all right, like they kind of use that against them. Yeah,
right. That's what I mean.
Kind of look at So I think they all do, but it's just one of those things where 9 times out of 10 that really don't work out in your favor. Because when you think about it, it's only happened twice in this century, in 2 times in 25 years that we've had a 6 7th round draft pick, make it to the Super Bowl. It's only happened twice.
And plus, it's a little bit of luck too, because you have to land in the right situation. Brock Purdy landed in the right situation playing under Kyle Shanahan and that offense. His offense, I'm not going to say it was tailor-made for Brock Purdy, but having all those offensive weapons around him made it so much easier. And all he had to do was just distribute the rock and not turn it over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
plus,
And
if you got a defense like that backing you too, so.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't set like that. So yeah, a lot of people want to mimic that, but they don't have the personnel to do that. Like, yeah, if he would have went somewhere else, this wouldn't have worked out. Like you said, it was the perfect storm, almost similar like to Tom Brady, where it was a perfect storm. So yeah, people will love to mimic that, but
but we've seen Kyle Shanahan's offense turn mediocre quarterbacks into make them look like they are better than what they are. Yep. The two names that jump off to me is Jimmy G and I know I'm gonna say his last name wrong, but CJ Bethea.
You talk about I know you talk about.
I probably said his first name wrong too.
Better, CJ Better.
Yes, because I think he stepped in for a few games when Jimmy G got hurt, and he looked good for those couple games that he was in there for. But like I said, it's Shanahan's offense, and he has, for some reason, he's always had weapons and a solid run game that that the quarterback can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that's why I asked that, because I'm looking at Kellen Moore and I'm thinking, you got Dak Prescott, success, Hurst. He's with Justin Hubert too, right?
Yeah, Herbert.
Herbert, right? Herbert. I always say Hubert, but Herbert, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there thinking, I was like, he probably was like, man, I can get a guy like that. They're not gonna pay much. You got some, because the one thing about the Saints, they got some Saints. They got some dudes been there for a long time, They got your old homeboy too, Chase Young, hiding over there too.
He did.
Coach. You know what I mean? So they got some vets. So like, I was thinking like, okay, well maybe that's what's going on in the league, that maybe they thinking they're gonna find a Brock Purdy or somebody. As long as they got a decent running game, they can figure out, you know what I mean? Some schemes or something like that have success.
And that might be the issue, because I don't think Alvin Kamara is going to be there the whole season. I can see him getting traded. So that's another thing too, where I look at that run game could be affected if he don't stay the whole season. I think it's just one of those things where it's just like I wouldn't necessarily think I still think they knew the future of Derek Carr. I think that's why you drafted Tyler Schott or what have you. I think that's why you drafted him. But it's just odd. And I know, like, they said that he really did like Spencer Rattler, which I think Spencer Rattler has an opportunity. That's going to be really – I think he's going to be the one that's going to be the starting quarterback for them.
Right.
I'm really curious because I've only seen him play twice. It wasn't the best, but he still got something in him, and I think Kellen Moore could probably bring out the best in him. I mean, because obviously I think last year they had Dennis Allen was the coach, so I think there's something it's something there with Spencer Rattler potentially.
Yeah, it's just I just again think it's very disrespectful, because I'm like, you got. Anyway, y'all already know, because it's all over the internet, but cool. We'll see.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So, your NFC South players to watch on offense and defense. I'm going to go with you first, Mal. Who's your offensive player to watch, defensive player to watch in the South? NFC South.
It was hard for me to find a defensive guy that I really wanted, but I'm gonna go with Derek Brown, tackle, and then I'm offense. I'm gonna go Bryce Young. I think that was the main one I really was looking at. I like Bryce Young. I think he has potential. I think kind of got dealt a bad hand. So and he did well towards the end of the season. So I'm really going. I think he's his third year, like we said before. I think he's the one to watch.
Who you got, X?
Offensively, I'm gonna say I'm piggyback off of Maui. It's Bryce Young because I just want to see like I said, can he take that next step? And I feel like now he has some comparable pieces at the receiver position, opposite side of Xavier Legette. So I feel like he should. I feel like this will be the year that he takes that next step. He showed flashes of it last season, especially in that game against, like you brought up, Coach, about against Philly. Potentially could have won the game, but like I said, Legette dropped a potential game-winning touchdown. But that's my offensive player to watch. My defensive player to watch, it took me a minute, but I'm gonna go with. I feel like I'm reaching with this one, but Hassan Reddick, because I know last season it was like he played the second half of the season, right?
Yeah, because he had that holdout with the Jets.
Yeah. So I just want to see if he can get back to what he was, and I feel like he can, especially under. Why am I blanking on the coach's name?
You talking about Todd Bowles?
Yes. I feel like under Todd Bowles' defense that he will get back to his old ways on the field, being a disruptor, wreaking havoc against quarterbacks.
And actually, I had Hassan Reddick too. Obviously, with him having that one sack, and Larry Foote, his linebackers coach, said, and I quote, "He's upset, and we like that." So I definitely think he's coming in now with an edge. Can he kind of go back to like the Philly Hassan Reddick, the Arizona Hassan Reddick potentially? Now he's kind of in a place where I think is stable, like you said, also. And that defense definitely need somebody like him to get that pressure. So I definitely think he will make the impact for Tampa Bay. And then staying in Tampa Bay, Bucky Irvin. I think he's someone that essentially, I wouldn't say he came out of nowhere, but that's how like most running backs their rookie year do. Like they just, they make this instant impact, and you look at obviously, seeing him definitely that week one against Washington. That was the first kind of thing, and then what he did in the playoff game, and what he did throughout the regular season. So you just look at like kind of what Bucky Irvin is capable of. He had 207 carries last year. A little over 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. So I definitely think he's gonna be another factor for Josh Grizzard and the offense of Tampa Bay, coupled with Baker Mayfield. So yeah, Bucky Irvin is the guy I'm looking forward to seeing. All right, so in the NFC South, our rookies to watch. I'm gonna go with you first, X. Who is your rookie to watch in the South?
Offensively, I'm gonna go with Tyler Shaw. I just want to see if he's not starting by week 1, how long will it take for him to win that starting position? And my defensive pick is Xavier Watts. I just want I feel like he is going to help the secondary for the Falcons, especially playing alongside Jesse Bates, because we all know how good Jesse Bates was last season. And I feel like Xavier Watts will benefit from that.
All right, Mel, who's your offensive and defensive rookie to watch in the South?
I got James Pierce Jr. And then I got offense. The main one's the offense one. Tyler Shaw, the 5-year senior from Louisville. Like I said, just want to see who he is. I tried to ignore it as long as I could, and I was just like, I remember watching the draft, and I was like, oh man, I think Kalen Moore gonna get Shador, and it just shocked me that he got him. And then I do this research, and I'm like, it still makes sense. But I'm gonna trust. I like Kalen Moore, so I'm gonna trust to see what he's gonna do. Maybe he sees something. I have a question. Do teams ever draft a backup, like somebody they think will be a strong backup? Has that ever happened before?
Quarterback wise?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think you always look for like another quarterback because you never know. The position is so vital to a point where if something goes down, you want to have somebody at least that you think is capable to hand over the reins for a few weeks while the starter is out or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think that teams draft to draft players, as far as the backup or to be the replacement down the line. I mean, we've seen it several times. I mean, not too many in this division. But in division, I think we might be talking about the next, few weeks or so. There are also situations where I can see the parallels. It kind of even talk about like the West in a sense. Go back to last week. Like Jalen Milroe in Seattle. Just in the event if something happens to Sam Darnold, they got a guy like him in the frame, and we'll talk about the Giants 2 weeks from tonight. On the 20th, them getting the kid Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. He's another one where I think they look at him maybe down the line, like even though I don't think he's gonna be a part of the Joe Sheehan and Dayball era in New York, which I don't think they're gonna be there next year. My personal opinion, but. That's another example where they drafted, I think, potentially to be the heir apparent for, Russell Wilson, the 2-time Richard Tanner Player of the Year, I might add.
Yeah. But, where are you from, Coach?
Tuckahoe, Virginia.
Tuckahoe, Virginia.
Yup.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But yeah. I definitely think they do that. Like they know, like as far as they find out like a way to kind of in any event, because just like everything, quarterbacks you gotta have, and now you're looking at teams carrying 3-4 quarterbacks on the roster potentially, so it's it's a science to it.
If you think about it, Seattle has done it before when they signed Matt Flynn to that contract as their starter, and then Russell Wilson came in, won the starting job, and the same with Dak in Dallas.
Yeah,
they had Romo was the starter, got hurt. Dak showed what he can do and proved himself in the preseason. led them his rookie year to
Right.
the NFC East title. Him and Zeke.
And-
So, I mean,
and even in Washington, you draft RG3, then you draft Kirk Cousins, and look what happened. You know, RG3 gets hurt. Then gets Jay Gruden is not a fan of him. Kid gets a concussion during the preseason. Does it have to scratch all year? Kirk Cousins starts, and then hell, you win it NFC East.
And then
it's weird, man.
Another example, you got Green Bay. Green Bay had Brett Favre, and then when we got to a certain point in his career, they decided let's bring in a younger quarterback. They brought in Aaron Rodgers. He sat behind Brett for what, 3 years?
Right.
Yep, 3 years.
And
what was crazy about that?
They cut ties.
And what was crazy about that? And what was crazy about that? Remember when Aaron Rodgers came in that first game, he ended up getting hurt for the year. Mm-hmm. And it was against like Dallas. That was crazy. And then, like you said, then fast forward, they drafted Jordan Love and see, and that's how you're supposed to do it. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, don't be like what happened in New England where you draft the heir apparent and Jimmy Garoppolo, but then you hold on to Tom Brady, and almost to a point where Tom Brady almost outlived Jimmy G, which is crazy.
Right. Okay.
And then you see now, luckily they got saved by my nephew, so now they got the quarterback of the future. And Drake.
That's so interesting because, like, you know, I'm a Steeler, so we had Ben Roethlisberger, but his backup was Charlie Batch. And I think if they would to do the opposite, would have had eventually a younger guy that they knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's ain't too many backups I can think of behind Ben besides Vic. You know what I mean? Like, I really didn't see that. Okay, eventually this guy is going to be.
Yeah, but then you have some teams that where the quarterback is established, and they don't really. If they draft a quarterback, it's like in the later rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much, it's like, I can remember, I'm a Lions fan. I remember we had Stafford, and then we didn't really draft quarterbacks in the early second, third rounds like that. If we took a quarterback, it was later on in the draft.
Yeah.
And then if we wanted a QB2, we'll go into the free agency and find one.
I think the only backup I could think of was Boswell, maybe, or Doswell. That's all I can't really think of. Besides Vic, I can't really think of another backup. It's weird.
Yeah, Baron Leftwich.
I forgot about Leftwich.
Because he beat us in 2016.
I remember that.
So Leftwich. Who else y'all have had?
I mean, listen to what you said. I really don't remember. And Ben got hurt a lot. He was tough, but Ben got hurt. He was getting hurt. Like you would think they would. It's just interesting. Let's just start to ask that question.
Yeah, and then even to your point with Pittsburgh, you thought you had the heir apparent in Kenny Pickett, and then now kind of that bad decision in 2022 is kind of what's been the issue with Pittsburgh going forward. And that's one thing too, when you whiff on that type of pick, and now you get Aaron Rodgers, and then what you draft Will Howard from Ohio State. So it's kind of one of those. It's it's
right,
and that's why like it's important like kind of draft that heir apparent and get it right.
And get it right.
Because essentially, even though you have a nice cushion Band-Aid, but that Band-Aid gonna fall off once December, January, once the season over. And that wound for quarterback still gonna be there. And I still think that Pittsburgh is a playoff team or virgin playoff team. I don't think they're gonna be in a position to get a prime quarterback unless they do some wheeling and dealing. So it's kind of almost gonna be back at square one. So it's kind of it's very imperative to get it right. And trust me, it's hard to get it right.
At least I ain't got Tyler Slaw. Oh my God.
Yeah, but I don't know. But my rookie to watch is going to be Ty Aura McMillan, but we call him T-Mac around here. The Carolina wide receiver. I definitely like what they got, especially he's on the opposite of Xavier Legette.
Yeah.
And then on the slot you got Thielen there, and then I don't know, our boy Hunter Renfrow. I think he got something to say potentially. I think I've been hearing some good stuff about him these last couple of weeks since training camp.
Yeah,
they said he's looking crisp.
They said he's showing out.
Yeah, so I like, he might be back. So I'm like, that's a great sign for him in his career. And I think Jalen Walker, linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons. I think you just can't, like, I don't know if I talked about this on one episode. I think I might talk about it. Yeah, because we talked about Michael Williams last week. At this point, I don't think you can't go wrong with a guy from UGA. Obviously we talked about Michael Williams on the end, on the edge, and then also now as a linebacker here with Jalen Walker. Like you said, I think UGA, you get one of those guys on that defense, on that Kirby Smart defense, you can't. I don't really see no bust out of Georgia. Essentially, I know people may think about Trayvon Walker because obviously he was a first overall pick, but he's still a solid guy in this league. But I think you just can't go wrong with UGA guys because it's almost like they plug and play. Unfortunately, as we see with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'd say, look at the Eagles defense.
Look at the Eagles defense. It's littered with Bulldogs. And you see what happened. And they're in a bountiful supply, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So, any NFC South hot takes?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I got one. Michael Penix Jr. throws for 3,500 yards and 23 TDs. No, my bad. 18 TDs, and Atlanta has found their franchise QB.
All right. X.
I'm gonna stick with Atlanta, and I'm gonna say Atlanta wins the division for the first time since 2016.
And I say in Atlanta, I think Kirk Cousins will get traded at the trade deadline. I think there will be some team, I think, potentially that is a burgeoning playoff team that might need his services. So I definitely think Kirk Cousins will be traded. And I think this will be an opportunity where Michael Penix don't have to look over his shoulder and because a lot of people, I think, if he does struggle, a lot of people will want Kirk Cole to come back because obviously, how it is in most of these towns. Your QB2 is probably the most popular person, on the team. So obviously, I think the screams for Kirk Cousins it's got to end in Atlanta. So I definitely think that they will trade him at the trade deadline. All right, so we do our record predictions for the South. I'm going to you first, X. What you got?
I got the Falcons going 10-7, winning the division. Tampa Bay going 9-8, with the potential of locking up a wild card, but the jury's still out on that. Carolina going 6-11, and the Saints coming up on the end at 4-13.
And Maui, what you got?
I got the Falcons going 11-6. I got the Bucks. I'm gonna go with you, X, with the 9-8. I got the Panthers at 7-10, and I got the Saints at 4-13.
All right. I got the Falcons winning 11-6, and I think if I look at my trusty board here, so that will put the Atlanta Falcons as a 4th seed, and they'll face a familiar foe. Well, we'll talk about next week. So they'll be the 4th. We have them as a 4th seed in the NFC. I have the Bucks at 10-7. Will be short of making the playoffs. I got the Atlanta. I got the Carolina Panthers at 8-9. And then I have the Saints, and they have officially clinched the worst record in the NFL this season with a 3-14 mark. And they'll be the ones at the number 1 pick, so they'll be first at the podium in Pittsburgh next April at the NFL draft. So
that's interesting. I like that. I really do. I like that.
So yeah. So Roger Goodell will officially put the New Orleans Saints on the clock. Essentially, what's January, the first week of January, or Black Monday. So yeah, so the Saints, they have officially clinched the worst. This will be the worst team in the NFL in my personal opinion at 3-14. All right. So that wraps up the South. So we're about halfway through. So we're halfway through the NFL previews. It's pretty much been a breeze so far. Today we discussed the South, and last week we discussed the West. So going forward, we'll be discussing the North. So that's next week. That'll be Bowers, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns. Now we're getting to a point where now we can kind of have a meaningful Shedeur Sanders talk next week. So we'll have at least one preseason game that we can see. We don't have to follow the Cleveland Brown chart of who did what in practice. I'm so glad that we don't have to have that tone deaf type of conversation. It irks me.
Right.
And it's unsufferable. It's unsufferable. I'm just like, it don't matter. It doesn't it's in practice.
I got a question. How it threw me for a loop when they announced Shedeur was going to start Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't they also announce that he's the 4th quarterback on the depth chart? So I was just trying to figure out how make it make sense.
Which is normal because obviously Flacco's a starter, so you need.
I'm agreeing with you.
So basically what it is, because obviously Flacco is the de facto starter, so he's not gonna get any time. Kenny Pickett, who's number 2, he's hurt. Dylan Gabriel's hurt. So then that's why Shedeur is at 4 gonna start, and that's why they signed Tyler Stu Huntley, because those two are gonna play. Like Washington, I'll give you an example for Washington. Sam Hartman's going to start. So Jaden is number 1. Marcus Mariota is 2. Josh Johnson, surprisingly, is 3rd on an unofficial depth chart. So, but Sam Hartman from Notre Dame, he'll get to start against New England on Friday for us, for the Commanders. So that's normal. Honestly, that's normal. Yeah,
I forgot that Dylan Gabriel was hurt. That's why I was wondering, why is Shedeur getting the start? I mean, I'm not mad that he's getting the start, but I was just wondering why you announced that he was the 4th string quarterback, but he's going to start the first preseason game. But okay.
So, I mean, you're right too, Coach. You're right. Everything you said, I would have said too. But come on, man, we know who's going to sell tickets. And everybody gonna make sure they watch. You know what I mean? If he wasn't there, no, people gonna watch, but they not gonna watch like that. But now people are really gonna watch. People are gonna critique because I ignored the story. You know what I mean? With the draft, I ignored it, but you can't. You start looking at it, you like, Tyler, who? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even shocked. I wasn't even shocked. I was like, he gonna be the 4th. He gonna start? Yeah, okay. So Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So are any other like starters gonna be playing? Like as far as offensive line, receivers or whatnot, or is he's gonna be playing with the backups?
I'm not 100% sure like what they're gonna do. It's probably gonna be a mix of both. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's like if it's like the second or the third team. It is because some teams when it comes to preseason it's different because like matter of fact, like the team that's opposite of them in Cincinnati, they're thinking about playing Joe Burrow during the preseason because they start off so slow. So this is kind of a way to kind of ramp them up.
Mm-hmm.
But if I mean every team is gonna be different, and I think it's pretty much be based on kind of who you're playing to in a sense. Where it's like if Carolina, who they got, I'm assuming I don't know if Bryce will be playing, but you think to yourself if some of his guys are playing, they probably put in some of their starters or what have you. But yeah. So that's how it happened. I know a lot of people looked at it like this is crazy, but it makes sense because those two aren't gonna be able to dress. I know a lot of people was but the whole Tyler Huntley thing. I'm like, it makes sense because two of the guys are hurt. You need bodies to play, and it's just a formality. He's just there. He's a camp body. That's what we call it around here. He's a camp body.
So do you think Shador's gonna play into the third quarter? Or was he just playing the first half?
I don't know. I'm assuming because you only got the two guys on the roster, so I'm assuming he's going to at least play the first half, and then Tyler Huntley probably play the second half.
I feel like he's going to play the first half, and if not the whole third quarter, maybe half of the third quarter, a few offensive series.
I hope so. It's in his best interest to play.
Yeah.
I think it's in his best interest because this probably could be the only time where I think he's going to get that chunk of time. Because I think as it progressed, because it's weird now with the 3 preseason games because I don't even know what you deem as a dress rehearsal now. Because remember they used to have that third game was the dress rehearsal because when you had the 4 preseason games, the dress rehearsals where everybody played for like a series or two or however the drive goes, you may play the whole first quarter. But everybody's dress rehearsal is different. Like I've even heard like Washington is like, well, what you see in game 1 is what you're gonna see in game 3, which is kind of odd because I don't know. It's everybody does it so different now. It's that So who's your dress rehearsal? Like I would assume like Washington that just more so because I more familiarity. They got that Monday Night Football game against Cincinnati. You would assume that's going to be their dress rehearsal. And then obviously I think Joe Burrow might play in that game as well a week from Monday. Well, yeah, a week from Monday on the 18th. Yeah. So I don't know. And I think with Cleveland, it's going to be probably a case-by-case basis once like Dylan gets healthy, Kenny Pickett, because I definitely think they're going to probably put Kenny in. Once he's healthy, he'll probably get the bulk of the snaps going forward. Dylan Gabriel might get sprinkled in, and then I think whatever should do as far as success that he has for Friday night, if he has a good game, that's going to put him maybe a little bit slightly above Dylan Gabriel. So it could be a situation where Kenny and Shador play week 2. And I think week 3, pretty much everybody it's just your whoever. Like I can see Shador playing a lot in week 3 as well, regardless if he fails Friday night or not. So yeah, it just depends on their health. I mean, if they're able to, if Kenny and more so than Dylan Gabriel, I think if Dylan Gabriel is healthy, he'll get some time because I think 1 and 2, I think kind of set. Because I think you don't trade Kenny Pickett and you just say, you know what, we don't want you no more. Like you traded assets for him, so you seen something in him at least to give him an opportunity to be on this roster. You seen enough outside of practice or outside of what he's done in Philly or Pittsburgh to say, hey, I want you, and I want to trade assets to get you. So Crazy what's going on in Ohio. Oof.
Hey,
I don't miss them days.
I want to give the game ball to Bear. You've been very quiet.
Oh, Bear working. Bear in the field. He working. He working. Yeah.
I usually get a little something. He been quiet.
Yeah, he working. He back on the road. Yeah.
He back on the road for real?
Yeah, man. So he grinding.
Interesting.
I talked to him maybe like a month ago, and we talked about this 4-ring circus that is in Cleveland. It's
crazy.
I do not miss them days. I don't miss them days. That's one thing about having a franchise quarterback. I do not miss these days of having these conversations about who's gonna be the starting quarterback.
Hey, Deshaun's still there, right?
Yeah, but he tore his Achilles twice.
Yeah, I got you.
Which,
I
don't know what. And somebody was talking about one of the Cleveland people like they might come back in mid-season. I'm like, he's not coming back. Like he tore his Achilles in October. He tore right before Christmas. He's not coming back in no mid-season. If he come back in mid-season after an Achilles injury, drug test him.
My bad.
Because ain't no way. There's no way he's gonna come back in this year, in this calendar year. He's not coming back. Like he's played his last down in Cleveland. Because the quarterback in Cleveland going forward is not the future quarterback of the Cleveland Browns is not on this team. Period.
Yeah.
He's not. You don't give up an opportunity to get Travis Hunter and you trade down and get Jacksonville pick. You're getting a quarterback next year. You don't make a move like that. You don't give up the opportunity to have a Travis Hunter because so you can trade and get Jacksonville's pick. That don't happen. They'll get their quarterback next year. Them in New Orleans. Their quarterback is on their future quarterback on the roster. Nope.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna never learn.
Very crazy. Never. And then Jimmy Haslam can't keep nothing to the vest. Like you just say stuff and it's just like be quiet. It's like you're literally Jerry Jones Jr. Like, don't say stuff. Like why would you throw Andrew Berry under the bus? And that's another one where I'm like, you're not gonna learn. Because it's just like why would you say, oh well, when we drafted Dylan on Friday night, I would have never thought we would have got another quarterback the next day. Why was they even had why did you even say that? I mean, we know that's the truth, but you don't say that out loud. Just like when your old lady say, "Did this dress do I look fat in this dress?" You be quiet. You don't say yes. You want to get slapped in the face?
Yeah, no, you say yes, but you spell it different.
Right. Right. Correct. Right. You say it in a different tone and you say it in a different way. You don't say what Jimmy Haslam said about that situation. Because you're the owner, you control that. So then you throw your general manager under the bus. Crazy. But
that's why you're the owner. Seems like a lot of owners, that's what they do. They don't know how to take the owners. You know what I mean? They're not. It's different when you're a manager. That's why they really shouldn't have a. That's right. Probably we shouldn't. They shouldn't even be. You should really. Sometimes you probably shouldn't even be talking to owners. You know what I mean? What? You know what I mean? Talk to the GM.
But they open themselves to that. So it's just like,
right.
I mean, and that's another thing about all this. Because I remember, Jerry Jones, he would be speaking during the game. I'm like, I remember one time we played them on Monday Night Football. I'm just like, why are they interviewing Jerry Jones?
Because he gave the pregame speech, the halftime speech, the postgame speech. he doing the press conferences before the coaches and the play.
And
Then he got his weekly radio show.
Right.
It's like what people used to say in back in the day when rappers, like they was like, soon as you see the CEO, that's the end of the that's the end of the label. You know what I mean? Like why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I mean, seriously, the GM should be the one talking, the president or whatever. Like, why is the owner? I can see every once in a while being interviewed, but just sit back and let these people do their job. You know what I mean?
And I give you a perfect example. I think all three of us, I think why we are successful because of we don't have that. You don't have, in your case, X, you don't have the Ford family talking and running their mouth. That way, you don't see the Rooneys running their mouth, and you don't see Josh Harris running his mouth. He's around, but he ain't talking to nobody. So you see how our owners allowed the team. He give the people who run the team full range.
Right.
So and they stay out of it. They stay out of it as far as from the media standpoint. Yes, they're at games like they should be, but they're not interviewing media because guess what? Whatever happens, because that stuff don't have to be said. Like, okay, so if the same thing happened, well, and we messed around, and if we drafted a quarterback in the third round, and then 24 hours later we drafted another quarterback, you're not gonna hear our owner say nothing. Yeah, you might hear the GM, which that's his call. He'll say something, and but he don't have to have an owner there, essentially, throwing his person that he hired and the general manager under the bus.
Right.
But you also got Dallas is Jerry Jones is both owner and GM, so that's
right.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like unheard of in the NFL.
Yeah,
but the man is addicted to being in front of the camera, having microphones in his face. He just wants to talk,
and controlling. I think that's part of it. Like if you got to make a decision. I understand you want to be hands-on, but it might be a young person, somebody that understands what's going on right now, that literally is letting you, kind of telling you, okay, you don't have to do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? You don't. I got one for you. Look. You don't have to use the jar of Heinz ketchup because remember back in the day, it used to take a long time. You can actually get the bottle that squeeze so it can come right back out. You're like, shut up, for real? You know what I mean? Like, it's a horrible analogy, but seriously, man, like, be an owner, be granddad.
But
it's all good.
They're not going to say nothing to Jerry because they're his kids. They're his actual kids.
Right.
So they're not. Yeah. So it's.
I think Steven tries. I think Steven gives I will say I think he gives a conceited effort. I'm not saying I think he does the best he can to kind of quell them. It was definitely difficult.
So do you think that Jerry and Steven play like good cop, bad cop?
To an extent.
Okay.
I think it's just one of those where it's like, I think Steven is like a good cop in a sense, where it's like he tries to stop him, but you just can't stop Jerry. It's like it's almost like you can't stop the train.
See, Jerry has too many platforms where he can talk on, and Steven can be at every platform.
Yeah. Yep. With him.
Yeah. So I'm assuming anything around the Cowboys practice facility, maybe he can be there to buffer what Jerry says. But once Jerry goes on his radio show, Steven's not there to
it's like the opposite. It's like the father's supposed to stop the son from doing something crazy versus the son is stopping the father from doing something crazy. It's almost like they have flipped roles. Almost like a Freaky Friday type of situation.
But a lot of people, I hear a lot of people say that he tries to mimic what's his name? God rest his
Al
soul.
Davis.
Yes.
Al Davis.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Mark Davis is in my. I don't because I don't really hear Mark Davis say a lot. Is he like Al? Because I don't.
Mark is chill. Like Mark
Yeah.
is chill. Like I mean, he a little wild boy though. He got a little young thing, but other than that, he just everybody else. He's a normal dude. I mean, yeah, he ain't nothing like his dad in the sense, like as far as because his dad was like pretty much like I won't say rebellious against the NFL, but he was just kind of one of those dudes where it's like I didn't care. Like I'm gonna do what's best for this organization, even if I have to take, even if I have to,
And that's the same approach Jerry Jones take. Jerry Jones is like the NFL got their stuff, and then the Dallas Cowboys is separate from what the NFL does. You get what I'm saying? Like everything that goes on at AT&T Stadium, Jerry Jones is profiting off that, pocketing that himself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
From team apparel, food, drinks, anything like that being sold, it's all going in Jerry Jones' pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, crazy times, but yeah.
So y'all don't think he got like a commission or a council that votes on everything? Everything just ends with him.
You can just kind of tell with the organization. I mean, you just like some of the moves because you got to think about it. You pay like a Dak, like you pay Ezekiel Elliott before you pay Dak, and this is, what maybe like,
right,
almost it ain't been 10 years, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, where you paid for the running back first, and you did the quarterback, and now the same thing here. Like what's going on, like with Michael, like. And all of it, because you think to yourself, like, he waited to the last minute to pay Dak last year. He literally paid him the day of the kickoff, like at 9:00 that morning of the game against Cleveland.
Right.
And CD was like a few days before that. So it's like, and this is where it's like, it didn't make any sense because you let all these other guys get signed. You let Justin Jefferson get signed. You let Chase get signed, and they reset the market.
Right.
So, like, you lose essentially, maybe 10, 15 million off of that deal because of how you waited so long.
Right.
Because you let them reset the market. And the same thing, like, those moves is just kind of one of the things where it's like, it's weird. Like, you don't. Like, to me, it's like once one wide receiver gets signed, you should just do it because what's going to end up happening is going to be a trickle effect.
See, I think he's expecting everyone to take that hometown discount, but
true, like Michael.
They're not, because these aren't the players from the 90s that Jerry had. They're not taking a discount. These guys today, and I don't blame them. Get your money. They're getting as much as they can as possible, even if it, like you say, even if that means they have to reset the market.
Yeah. You got to, because everything that's going on, especially you look at all these TV deals where it's like these networks are forking over billions of dollars just to carry games 1-2 times a week. And like if I'm them, like especially like you think about the Cowboys and the Commanders game on Christmas, Netflix had to cough up probably almost $250 million just for that game potential. I know like last year was like $100-something million, but I guarantee the price it went up. And you don't think I deserve a piece of that pie? No, y'all are getting money. Like y'all get to a point where you're even pricing out the consumer because of the app prices.
I can guarantee you Jerry Jones got a piece of that too.
Absolutely. Yes,
he not letting the Cowboys play on Christmas on Netflix and not get a piece of the pie.
Of course, even on the road. And then you think about like all that type of stuff. You just think about everything because the teams get well over $300 million just off the revenue share. So even at $300 million, you're just getting that, and that's just your salary cap. So just imagine what you're getting from the local television, the merchandise sales, the parking, admissions, all that type of stuff. Because now you go in them stadiums, you're paying. I think the cheapest parking was $65, and that was 3 years ago at Kansas City. Who knows how much it is now? I think even like with the Chargers, it's like $100 to park at SoFi. Yeah. So it's just like, and it's going to increase more and more, and then these ticket prices are outrageous.
And see, and the thing about Jerry Jones is this: it's like AT&T Stadium. It hosts more than just football. We got boxing, WWE, NCAA, Final Fours being played at AT&T Stadium, and Jerry Jones is pocketing. Now I ain't gonna say all the money, but he's pocketing some of that money, and he's pocketing a lot of that money.
Because I think they're not in the red anymore. I think everything he profits, and then you think about the Big 12 championship there every year. Then you got the Texas State championship is there. I don't know if it's there or at their facility, at the Ford practice facility, one of them. But he's a part of that too.
The high school state.
The Texas State championship is.
I think it's at their practice field.
Facility, the Ford field or whatever. The Ford, I forgot, Ford Center or whatever, but they call it practice facility. But that's still a part of Jerry Jones, what he's profiting off of. Yeah. So you think to yourself, and then he has a Cotton Bowl every year.
It's Jerry, getting money.
Yeah.
And look, I didn't even talk about the concerts.
The concerts,
that arena,
the concerts,
the pay-per-view fights. Remember Earl Spence before he got
the fights. Yeah. You got fights there. Like you said, you can host a Final Four probably at least within a 5-10 year window. You got that, then
I can remember it was within a 5-year span. WWE hosted WrestleMania there within twice within a 5-year span. And now WrestleMania is 2 nights. And I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones is going to get WrestleMania back in Jerry's world for 2 of those nights.
Since you said that. Since you said that, that's who he sound like. He sound like Vince McMahon. And you see what, to get Vince McMahon to step out of the way, look how much dirt had to come out just for him to step away. You understand what I'm saying? All that, all the stuff came from the past. Everybody started digging, like all these different things. Netflix put a documentary called, you know what I mean? All that stuff happened just for him to have to step down. You know what I mean? And for them to move forward. You know what I mean? So like, I hear everything you're saying. He getting older. Like, what's?
But then Maui. But then you hear rumblings that is a chance he may come back.
He ain't coming back.
I don't think he comes back.
Yeah, he ain't coming back.
But you hear the rumblings and stuff like that. Like he's trying to come back. He's trying to start his own promotion. It's just
he may be trying to start his own promotion, but you think about it. The year they said he stepped down, a year later. They get bought, and then they also is on back. Netflix.
But he came when TKO bought WWE. Vince came back. He was on the board, but then
he on the board, but
no, I don't think he is now. But when they first bought it, he was on the board because he came back and was on the board, and then I don't even think a year later he was.
He's gone
completely
because but even though you on the board, that they took some control from him, and that is what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's almost like I watched a show called Succession, and it was about that, like how okay, this guy had everything, and he knew he was sick, and he was trying to get his kids to figure out who was going to take over. You know what I mean? And they did so much dirt to each other before they actually voted for this particular person to take over. But y'all clearly are saying y'all value your opinion that he's making, and he's been doing it since for a while. He's making these decisions, and because he's dragging his feet, he's paying more than what he really has to.
And it also,
That's basic.
And it also kind of reminds me of the Lakers situation with the Bus family, with the Bus kids, with Jeannie,
Right,
and her brothers.
right.
To the point where I think it had to go to court, and she became the majority owner, majority governor. But then she just and then they just sold the team. They sold majority. How do you say what ownership, governorship of the team?
Yeah, I think she said governorship. Yeah, because they call him the governor. Yeah, they call him the governor.
So that do I see Jerry doing that? No. I'm pretty sure in his will he has it set in stone. Do not sell the Dallas Cowboys to anyone outside
of the Jones family. Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how many businesses do that to me.
Yeah.
Like Kroger, right? When I was at Food Line, I found out that there was a deal where Martin's and Kroger wouldn't come down to this area until it's like some type of deal with U-Crops until a certain person passed away. Then they started making their way down. I lied to you not. I remembered. I was like, what? You wouldn't believe like what people put in these deals. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, case in point with the Commanders, same thing. When Jack Cook died, he put in his will explicitly, do not sell this outside the Cook family. And lo and behold, who gets it? Daniel Snyder. And then guess what? He got the Ferrari and drove it off the cliff. And then see how bad it is now, how bad it was. And then now, fast forward now with Josh Harris. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was cursed. The team was cursed because of that.
But when you put that in your will, you can't assume that the later generation of your bloodline wants to be in that type of position.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure it's a lot that goes into owning a team.
Yeah. I mean, it's like soul food.
Right. Yeah. So
it's like soul food.
Right.
Everybody wanted to keep Big Mama house, but Vanessa Williams said no. The maintenance and the upkeep we can't afford. We got to sell Big Mama house. And the same thing go for these kids. These kids, like, hey, yes, it's great in theory, but like you said, it takes a lot to own these teams. Yes, we look at it from the standpoint, oh yeah, you can make hand over fist of money, but it requires a lot. And that's one thing too. Not to kind of go back to the first topic, I'm now going to be curious of the Irsay daughters, how this organization going to be going forward. Not necessarily today, but when we, Lord willing, we hit here in 2026 to talk about the 2026 Indianapolis Colts, how this team will look. Because that's another thing too, where this like another example with that with Irsay. Like, I'm really curious how. This time the first night I really start thinking about like how this Colts organization will be going forward. Because especially with it just happening in 3 months ago, we're really almost we're a little over less than 3 months removed from Jim Irsay's death, and now the daughters are now stepped in ownership position with the Colts. So yeah,
and I don't think they have an allegiance to Anthony Richardson. So like that's why I harked on this is a make it or break it year. He has to show and prove that he is worth the extension that is potentially coming his way, and that he is the future quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Because if not, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go in a different direction and find another franchise QB.
Right. Because
And
I don't know.
And like
I don't know about the baseball team in Indiana, but Indiana sports is actually doing pretty well right now with
but
the WNBA and the NBA. So yeah, he's gonna have to step up.
Well, that NBA team might take a hit this season.
Potentially, but yeah, and that's why I was saying the whole thing with Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen, where the daughters might just clean house. Like you said, there's no allegiance to them in a sense, especially if they look at the situation where they have a disappointing season. They, because obviously we know Irsay had relationships like that deep relationships, deep connections with people. And I don't necessarily think that the daughters necessarily had that type of relationship with her, like a Chris Ballard. Chris Ballard been around for a while, so you think so, and then we know how when it came to players and how loyal he was to certain people, to his coach, even once they were gone as well. Obviously you look at like the relationship that he had with Pat McAfee. And other players too, especially, when he had passed, a lot of people talked about a lot of stuff, which, that's something about, when people pass, you hear these stories and like, wow, you're amazed because, of kind of generosity that he had. When people are that type of generous, they don't announce that type of stuff. And he was kind of that type of person where once he passed, that's when everybody kind of started talking about how generous and what he was and all the philanthropy things that he did. So it's gonna be interesting what's going to happen in Indianapolis going forward. I'm very curious how the season will play out for sure. With everything, with everything considered, that too.
Right,
because we still a tragedy, with Mr. Irsay, but yeah. Regardless of it's still, just from a football perspective, but it still is a tragedy within, we talked about from a football perspective.
Well, maybe we answered our own question. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe Jerry don't trust his kids to run the team better than him.
I mean, that could be a part of it, but he feels as though at his age that he's in his, all things considered, he's still in his right mind. He's still in his right facilities.
Right.
I'm good. So I don't need nobody to, because you think, because I wouldn't necessarily say he's a self-made guy, but I mean, you think about all the stuff he's done, obviously, the oil field situation, being in the oil industry, for, prior to him, being with the Cowboys, he probably thinking to himself, hey, you can't tell me nothing.
I got one question. When they had like Mac and T.O. and Romo and all of that, if Romo wasn't there and the quarterback that's for the Cowboys right now, if they had him, do you think they would have had more success? If Dak was there rather than Romo with that team, because they had, I think, did they have Pac-Man also?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pac-Man.
I felt like, I felt like they went and got some hard heads and they really was trying to, because I remember watching T.O.'s reality show and Jerry Jones said, he said, I got outvoted. I got to let you go. And what we were talking about, and I'm like, well, damn, if they didn't have Romo and they had Dak, I wanted they to have more success.
It's a possibility, but I think he came at the right time because with that situation, and both of them kind of, because Tony Romo was undrafted, Dak was a 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty equal. I mean, because they might have had the same type of success. I mean, obviously, I don't think Dak would have been out there and mess up the snap for the kick necessarily against Seattle. But I mean, it's still, you know what I'm saying? I don't really see like as far as any difference because they both were kind of like these underachieving quarterbacks coming in.
Right.
And then when Romo just got hurt, you know, with the I forgot what was it? Was it his back or was it shoulder? I forgot what it was.
His back.
His back, yeah, it was his back. Because you know he was no good after that. I think, yeah, he was no good once that came. You know, that's probably one of the main reasons. Yeah, because once he was no good at that point.
But the thing is, when Romo was ready to play, Jerry Jones was adamant on putting him back as a starting quarterback. It took the coaches and to talk Jerry Jones off the ledge. Like, no, let's stick with Dak. So
and the same thing with Tony. Because remember, I don't think Parcells wanted him. I think it's probably one of the reasons why Parcells left.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things. I think, and plus Parcells didn't want T.O.
Yeah, he didn't want T.O. Yeah, because because Bill was something different. Bill is an old school coach, so he don't play. You know, the only person who he was ever allowed to have the type of activity was Lawrence Taylor because he performed. He was willing to kind of put up with that crap with him.
Yeah, but I think that Belichick may have been that buffer between the two.
True. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just assuming. I don't know for sure, but I'm just assuming because
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because
I think Bill. Yeah.
Because I ain't mean to cut you off, Coach, but I was saying I feel like since Belichick was like his protege, I think that's why I think that he was that buffer between LT and Parcells.
Right.
Yeah, I think he like another one where it's like he might talk Little Bill Belichick, and Big Bill, where he probably essentially did, as far as I know Big Bill probably was wanting to go over the ledge over LT, and Little Bill kind of talked them out of it. Like you said, I think it was a situation where I think Little Bill probably talked to Big Bill and was like, look, we need him. We might just have to just deal with it. And I think he might have did that because obviously that was a younger, Bill Belichick. So yeah, I definitely think, that was part of the case potentially because, like you said, it's a compromise.
And the only reason why I assume that is because when you hear how Bill Belichick talks about LT, it's like he revered him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and
and that's why I find it so odd because, like, when it comes to Tom Brady, it's almost like he treats Tom as if like he's just a regular guy, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
Because yes, I get the whole LT. Now I understand, like, yes, LT is the greatest defensive player of our generation. And Tom Brady is arguably one of the best quarterbacks in our generation. So I can understand, yes, you can treat the fifth string quarterback like crap, but you can treat LT because of his stature. But both of them, to me, on equal footing on their side of the ball. Not saying that, Tom Brady's better than LT. No, we're not going to sit here and lie. But they are equal on their side of the field. I'll put it that way. Yeah, where I think he deserves the same reference that he gives to LT. Like you said, he'll talk to LT about LT till he blew in the face. Because like you said, he has him in high regard.
I think eventually it will get to that. I just think their breakup is still somewhat fresh to him.
True.
And I think that I think he may feel a way that he may have felt betrayed by Tom because of the Jimmy G situation. I think that's where I think that's what most of that lies. But eventually Brady. I know Brady really don't.
You don't care.
I'm not gonna say he don't care because I think
It doesn't bother them.
Yeah, it doesn't bother him now.
Yeah.
I don't think it really bothers Bill now, but I think eventually he will start talking about Brady in the same regard as LT.
Eventually.
Yeah. But it might be kind of hard when you got other media outlets saying who trying to give one or the other more credit than the other. So
yeah.
I think the owner picked Tom and said, I'm not trading Tom. You know what I mean? And I think that make Bill Belichick look like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? Which, again, with the main subject we're talking about is that owner is out the way. He put his foot down and said, no, I'm keeping Tom. You can do that. You know what I mean? Because Bill Belichick, let's just be honest. He was kind of getting very dictator type, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of feel like he could do whatever he want. And I think those are the times when the owner is supposed to step in and say, nah, I want this. I want to do this. You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to keep Tom Brady, which, hey, man, I think he made the right decision. What you think?
He made the right decision.
Yeah.
But then eventually it came back to bite him because that next time around, I think by that time, I think Tom was fed up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was kind of like Belichick was trying to sabotage Tom a little bit. He didn't give him the necessary pieces on the offensive end to help Brady flourish. So it was kind of easy for Brady to be like, okay, let me see what the landscape of the land looks in the NFL. Let me find a team that has the necessary pieces, and that's pretty much a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl, a la Tampa Bay.
And people was willing to play with him and come out of retirement.
Exactly.
And the thing about it too, where because Bill's always and I think Bill is, and I think that's another kind of a big Bill type situation too, where those guys will get rid of you a year or two before you supposed to really kind of get rid of a guy. And it's weird how Tom Brady kind of sustained the test of time, because most people, I think they wanted to get rid of him like 2014. And, and Tom Brady was 37 at the time, I think. My memory serves correct. I think he was like 30, like he was in his late 30s. And typically, that's the rationale behind it. But then you look at kind of how he's outlived everybody, pretty much expectations. Who would have thought that he'd been playing almost at 45 years old? Like, you think, yeah. And like I said, he almost outlived Jimmy G, who was almost 10, 15 years younger than him.
Right.
And then when they wanted to get rid of him, like you said, coach, back in 2014, what does he do? He turns around and wins 3 more championships.
Yeah.
And that was just in New England alone. Then he goes on to Tampa Bay, wins the championship.
Right. He's won more Super Bowls than any NFL franchise.
Yep, it's Tom Brady, and then you got Pittsburgh, Dallas. No, Pittsburgh, New England, Dallas.
New England, yeah, New England,
Yeah, so
New England, yeah, yep.
And then he sold the team, right?
Huh?
Didn't he sell the team?
Who?
No, I'm talking about the owner for the Patriots. Didn't he sell the team?
Um,
I think Robert Kraft still is the owner.
I think I know there was rumblings that he was going to potentially sell the team. I know the Celtics are.
I know the Celtics
But
did.
I don't know about the Patriots.
I thought I heard the
Yeah.
Patriots.
I don't think so. I don't think they have. I think
My bad.
Kraft is still the owner.
I know they
for now.
I think they still I think so. I know there might have been some rumblings, but I don't know if it's.
But I thought I heard something, but hey.
Yes, I think.
I didn't even know Boston sold their team. I was like, well, damn.
Yeah, I think. Yep. Yeah, man. I think they sold. I don't think they sold 100%. I think they just sold to some of it, like the minority portion of it. So I forgot it was something. But yeah, they sold too, and this is like, and that's another thing too. You get that, whew.
And they clearing house, piece by piece,
piece by piece. Yep. But yeah, so we'll put a bow on tonight's show. We'll go around the horn, fellas. Social media, anything you got upcoming going on? What you got, X?
Social media is Game On Media _X. Nothing much really going on. Just patiently waiting for week 0, week 1 of the college football season. Ready to jump right back into it.
Yes, sir. All right, what you got, Mel?
Man, great show. Nothing really going on, man. One day at a time. DT Morgan 78. Instagram, Sean Morgan, Facebook. Let's get ready for this North.
Yeah. And definitely got to give a huge shout out to H. Hello. He said go Bucks. So definitely a huge shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pretty much social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Under Couch Coach Live. Be on the lookout. We got some videos coming out in the next few days from the 804 Media Day. So we'll have a couple of the high school coaches coming up. So we'll have interviews from Highland Springs coach Lauren Johnson, Charles Scott from Henrico. Let's see who else we got on deck. Sam Rogers, Hanover. Coach Harrell from Manchester. Coach Holmes from Henrico. So we got a few of those be coming out shortly. So definitely follow us on social media to check that out. And yeah, we just got that going on. We got the South, we got the North next week. Yeah, man. A few other things going on next week as well. So man, we'll catch you guys on our next episode, man, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. And we're out.
Welcome.
Peace.